Wale worked for a construction company in Lagos. He lived a very comfortable life with his wife, Rachel, and their two lovely sons. About 7 years previously, he asked Rachel to stop working so she could take care of the children who were then about 4 and 5 years of age. Unfortunately, the company laid off workers and Wale lost his job. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching us. Today, we bring you another story of divine connection and divine intervention. Now, Wale was devastated because he lost his job. He tried looking for a new job that year without success. The following year, he tried to start a business with some friends, but lost all his savings and money in the process. Because of this, Wale fell into depression. Rachel had asked Wale to give her some money so she could start a small business, but he refused to do so. So when he lost all his money, they were completely broke and without any income. They borrowed money from friends to pay their rent. They borrowed money to feed. They borrowed money for the children's school fees. By the end of the 3rd year, they were in so much debt that no one was willing to lend them any money. They were evicted from their rented apartment due to lack of payment, so they had to move back to Wale's hometown. He had inherited a big house from his father with some plots of land. Having no other choice, they traveled 180 miles to Wale's hometown. By this time, Wale has gone into complete depression. He either stayed at home all day sleeping, or he went out in the morning, came back late at night completely drunk. Rachel cried and cried all day, as she had to take responsibility of feeding the family, getting essentials for everyone, and finding the school fees for the children. It was a very bad time for the family. Now, the family home was built on the outskirts of the town and has about 10 plots of uncultivated land. So Rachel wasted no time. With the help of her children, she began to plant vegetables, cassava, maize, and other types of crops on the land. Within a year, she had more than enough for the family to eat and sell. She got a stall in the markets and began to sell her crops and vegetables. She didn't need to borrow from anyone anymore. She was able to buy basic things for the home and pay for the children's school fees. All this while, Wale continued in his daily routine of doing nothing, reading newspapers, eating, sleeping, and getting drunk. One day, Rachel went to the market to sell her crops and vegetables as usual. Around midday, a woman came to her store and exchanged some pleasantries and chatted for a while. The woman was a customer who came to the stall about once a week to buy from Rachel. Then the woman asked Rachel how she got her crops and vegetables, and she told the woman she got them from her own farming, her own little farm. The woman smiled and said, "Just what I was hoping to hear. Do you know my mother created a foundation called Help Women Grow? She was a very wealthy woman. She passed away last year, and she mandated us to look for 10 women farmers, mentor them for 10 weeks, and invest 100 million each into their farming business." Rachel staggered back. She almost fell. She sat down. She stood up and looked at the woman in disbelief. The woman smiled and told Rachel to calm down. And she said she had been observing Rachel for about 3 months and knew that Rachel could benefit from the foundation. When Rachel got home, she shared the news with Wale and showed him the paperwork. He broke down in tears and cried for almost an hour. He knew he had abandoned his family, not by running away, but by hiding his head in the sand and ignoring the crisis when his family needed him most. That day, he vowed to change and help his wife with the farm and the new large-scale business they were about to start. God sent Rachel's customer to change Rachel's story. In doing so, he changed Wale's story. God intervened in their situation and connected them divinely to their breakthrough. Today, they own one of the biggest mechanized farms in their hometown. This is another story of divine connection and divine intervention. Never give up.